I'm really gonna say this. I'm really tired of seeing the same DJs in all the bars, guys. Like, I have so many DJ friends, so I know these guys are not gonna get pissed off. In South Africa, the DJs pride themselves in playing what no one knows. The DJs here, you're gonna go to places and you're gonna hear the same shit, and then you're gonna be told these are the big DJs in the city. You guys, let's all accept this shit. Like the way our uptown society in Kampala is built, there's so much like pressure. So I feel like they put that energy on DJs as well. And man, for that reason, I feel like DJs are fearing the crowds they're playing for. Now these DJs are scared of the crowd. Yo, you guys, stop being scared of the crowds. You guys are the hit makers.
She wanna talk for promo. I make my cash no borrow.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the MOBJAZZ podcast, episode 22.
Yep.
Where with the boys, the voice, and
Melvin Wagwan.
hey, yo, DENESI.
Yo.
Wagwan.
I'm very kawa, my brother. Very kawa.
We have a bad man in the building today, you guys.
Yeah, man.
So tell us, bro.
First
what
base, First turn down the volume of those
The
speakers.
speakers.
Yeah.
Should I just turn them? What's the speaker thing?
Have you guys turned them from the back?
From the back.
How's that? Better?
Better.
Alright, we're keeping all of this meanwhile.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
I won't hold you.
Let's go.
Bro, I can't wait to hear how DENESI sounds on this podcast, man. This guy's
Let's
the
go.
most perfect podcast voice you get.
Increase his mic a bit.
Oh, what are you?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll turn them up.
Let's go.
That's it.
But DENESI called me on Friday, lecturing me about like voice control, bro. The nigga called me and said, bro, where does your voice come from? I was like, what kind of deep philosophical question is this? He said, where does your voice come from? I was like, bro, I don't know, man. I've always had this voice.
It's supposed to come from the stomach.
Yeah, the guy said, yeah, man, you know, there's different places it can come from, da da da. Nah, I enjoyed that, so I can't wait, man.
So you were saying your voice is like, it's good? It comes from the stomach? Or it's
Nah,
like
he was
nasal,
kind of
it
like,
comes
yeah, he
from
was telling
up?
me sometimes it's nasal, sometimes it's like, yeah. Anyway.
How do you control that? How do you make your voice come from your stomach?
Man, it's just vocal drills, bro.
Like what, like what vocal drill? Give me
It's
give me
vocal
like
drills,
two.
but like, there's always like an area like of attention when you're releasing, an area that's contracting when you're speaking, one area that's being exhausted. Because if you speak like, if you use your head voice so much, you'll eventually get a headache if you
Headache.
talk too
Facts.
much.
I always have headaches after this.
That's why.
Yeah.
Always have headaches after this.
Yeah. So if you
Someone-
use your stomach so much, then of course you might get hungry after you talk so much. Like it depends on the place. The chest, then you feel the chest areas, or you feel those areas contracting as you're speaking.
I
Yeah.
know for me it's more like breathing, if that makes sense. Like the talking is more like exhaling.
So
That's-
that mean like the chest?
Yeah, for me it's mostly chest and stomach. You get?
Yeah.
So for me it's
Ah.
like breathe in, then talk while breathing out.
But then the goal is just like for you to be able to just change where you place your attention, so that the voice can automatically come from there.
At any time.
Yeah. At any time. At
Is
any
that
time.
best
like-
place, or is it just where you want to feel pain?
There's no best place. It's the situation. It's the situation. It's the mood. Like if you're like you're in a calm situation, then you wanna give guys like a calm voice. If you're in a happy situation, you wanna give guys a happy voice. Because you cannot find someone crying and then you're like, hey man, very sorry for you, what?
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's like that has to be from the head, right? What you just did is
Yeah.
from the head.
So there you have to come down and be like,
Yeah.
hey man, very sorry for what you're going to, like calm soothing voice.
For me, I feel like I be talking calm most of the time, but then
Yeah, you
That's why
think
you
you'll
have
be
headaches,
talking.
is it coming from? But I still feel like it's coming from my head.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Because even me, like, I feel like it's just automatically coming from like my nose area, like
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, now that's like something that you're doing very unconsciously because maybe you're not paying enough attention to it, so you can be able to control where it's coming from. Yeah, so you can be talking low and then you eventually realize the voice is coming from here.
Now that we're talking about it, I feel like everywhere is contracting, bro. Like my oxygen's
go.
contracting. What up, man? What up? How are you feeling, man? How are you all feeling, honestly?
Yo, I'm feeling very blessed. I'm feeling very I'm feeling very stressed at the same time.
Yeah.
What's stressing you?
Yeah. A lot of shit, man. A lot of shit.
You guys are working, man.
Yeah, but man, just man. Do you guys ever get stressed out by just your own thought process?
Of course, bro. Always.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where it all begins.
YOLO.
That's where that stress begins.
All
YOLO.
of you are overthinkers, you guys.
I don't even know if it's that, bro. Anyway.
But first elaborate, what do you mean by get stressed by your own thought process?
Like man, I can do like something that's very crazy and it's very good, and then like I'll start like, yo, did this like put out the impact I wanted it to put out? And then shit, did I really do what I wanted to do? Did I? And then eventually it's gonna come and start stressing me.
Yeah.
And then guys are gonna come and Leo did something lit. That shit is so lit. And then you remember like, oh man, this thing is lit. And then you like first snap back, it's lit. And then you just give yourself time and
You ever ask guys why?
why?
Like when guys say, "Oh man, that was lit," do you ever be like, "Why or how?"
That's actually a question I never ask people.
Yeah, bro. I don't know, man. That's something I started
Right.
asking guys. Whenever
You
guys
can put a
come
guy
up
on
to me and
spot.
they're like, "Hey man, I love a podcast." Da, 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 da." Like I kind of want to ask them further,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, like, what exactly do you like? Or did you catch this? Or did you this? Like, do you watch or do you listen? How's this? How's that?" I don't know, bro. That's part of like the overthinking shit, I guess.
I never ask people why, because I remember when I used to ask people why, I never used to take it serious when they would give me reasons. Because now me, when people ask me why, I never want to answer because I'm gonna like tell you why, because I already know why so vividly. But then like I'm gonna have already seen like a million ways. I'm gonna want like some better shit. So at the end of the day, someone may end up thinking I'm trying to criticize them or something, because I'm gonna have like so many like, man,
Opinions.
maybe you should also do this, do this, do
Yeah.
this. Like I'll already, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a blessing or if it's just like confusion and overthinking. But you wanna see like possibilities, you know, like where this thing could go like in 10 years. So you're trying to like look at it calculatively and be like, will this thing stand the test of time? Or like, what's the reason for this thing being there now? Like, who is it appealing to? Who's the main persona? Who is this and that? And how is that gonna be like in 5 years when these people grow? Are they gonna still have appeal to this thing? What? And so you're trying to advise a person, but they may not even like be like, oh man, shit, I didn't thought about all these
Yeah,
things.
think of it at that
Like,
level.
man, trying to scare me out of my shit right now.
I feel like you might be one of a few guys who, whenever you give me advice about the pod, it's like I only take it seriously because everyone else that gives me advice, it's either something that I've thought of and we're still figuring out how to execute, or it's someone who like just kind of wants to come and just be in this position, bro, but has no idea like the advice they're giving me is so far out of context, you guys, that it just can't be applied, man. You know. Anyway.
Now, what you've just said sounds just like if Kane would advise Abel. You dig what I'm saying? Because Kane was never in the position that Abel was in, but then he always wanted to be in that position. And so his whole thing was envy. And so sometimes someone would come and give you advice, but when there's really no advice in the shit at the end of the day, it's just them telling you like, bro, I don't think you're good enough for this thing, and I think I would be better in that position.
Yeah.
You dig? So it's like sometimes even us knowing these archetypes of behavior and of people, it helps us to know like what kind of advice are we taking in and how deeply or seriously should we take it.
Do you guys ever take advice?
I take certain advice, but yes, I do take advice. I don't take it from everyone.
What's like your thought process when someone gives you advice? Like, how do you like sieve?
Okay, so the first thing I do is like I first figure out, is this person actually like talking to me or like projecting something onto me like right now into my situation? That's the first thing I'm always thinking about.
Yeah.
And if they are not projecting and I think this person is actually trying to tell me something, then I take it with a big grain of salt. Then I go and think about it like later and see if it treats. That's how I take advice. Like it's a very slow process before what they've said seeps into my brain.
Because knowing you, that's accurate. That's exactly how I think you take advice.
I don't want to just take on opinions like that. And like it ties back to like what you were saying about like overthinking and how that can actually, and to that I'd say, man, like you're your own worst enemy. In that regard, like for me, I think that you should just be doing at all times, man. Like less thinking. Like you should only think like very little, and it should be very deliberate about what you're doing, and then get back to doing what you're doing. Otherwise, for me, I find myself I can think myself out of what I'm supposed to be doing, and I find reasons.
You
why I shouldn't.
ever read any Eckhart Tolle books?
Katole?
Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart, no, I haven't read any of his books.
Eckhart Tolle, like he has a thing where he says, man, like compulsive thinking is obviously one of the things that derails our consciousness.
What has he written? What are the popular ones?
He has written the Handbook to Consciousness. He has written The Power of Now, which is very powerful book.
I've read that.
The Power of Now.
Yeah, Eckhart Tolle.
But he keeps saying how we bring our own stress, like we create psychological time. Because if you're stuck in the past, then you're building depression. But if you're stuck in the future, then you're building anxiety. So he'd be like, try and be centered in the present moment. But then the way he would say it is like, don't be a compulsive thinker, because thinking is going to drag you in one of the two places. So it'd be like, learn how to pick your mind up, use it to think, and then put it back down. You dig? Like, if I need to think through this situation, like, this needs thinking. Like, now let me think. Like if thinking is not needed, like now where the fuck are you out here thinking? Because you're gonna think yourself into something that you do not want to be in. So usually it's like can you master that ability to like pick your mind up, use it to think, and then put it back down and just be able to.
Okay, so what I've found, first, I think I need to read that book, first of all. But second of all, what I've found is, I'm not able to like pick up my mind and put it down at will.
Yeah.
But what you kind of learn, at least in my experience, is how to kind of not ignore, but like kind of just let the thoughts pass without engaging them. Because these compulsive thoughts, they come from somewhere which is beyond our control.
Yeah.
But then when it comes up and it piques your interest, that's when you now tug on that thread and see where it goes in your mind. And then you end up in complete fantasy like land where you're just like deep thinking.
So how do you ignore them?
So like you just observe the thought that comes. Like for example, it's like there's someone walking outside, just like let it pass. Don't tug on it. Just there's another thought coming and another one. Just kind of like observe the thoughts presently without engaging into it. That's what I find. Like trying to completely stop the thoughts at any given time is almost impossible for me, at least. So you just have to kind of get that discipline of not. It's like it's like if you're doing work and there's so many distractions around you, kind of tune out the distractions and focus on the work. So I guess it's something like that.
A lot of the time, the thoughts be the distractions, bro.
The thoughts be me.
A lot of the time,
the thoughts be the distractions, like 101%.
The biggest zib is trying to like get rid of that thoughts by distracting yourself with things that aren't work, bro.
Yeah.
Like just other, like trying to distract yourself, trying to get rid of those thoughts by doing just other idle shit, bro. It almost never works, man.
Like playing music.
I don't know if music is idle, bro, because music requires some sort of engagement.
But music is now putting your mind like in a whole other thought process.
I mean, there's definitely some types of music where it's a distraction, bro.
Okay, some is a distraction, but
also
like
it depends on the music. You're very right, because there's some music that's just gonna like entirely like
like
down and
have you ever watched those playlists on YouTube, like lo-fi hip hop beats to chill and study?
Yeah,
those stuff can put you into some focus mode and you finish your essay, bro.
I definitely
deep focus.
That's crazy. When it comes to like those kinds of sounds, my favorite shit to listen to is sound frequencies. Do you guys ever listen
alpha
to
waves, beta waves.
I saw we were
like
listening to
specific
that
frequencies, like
we're listening to that. What's Mike Dean album? It's just full of sound frequencies.
Yeah, I listen. I like the 369 frequency. It's crazy. I like the 963. That's what I've been listening to all morning.
It's like a particular tone.
Yeah, it's hertz. Yes, it's like hertz. So it's very crazy. There's a different way the sounds affects you. When you go like different hertz, there's a way they affect you. Like it's very crazy. I don't know how that shit works, man.
And I read someone was talking about it. It's like we're all vibrating at certain frequencies because every molecule is kind of like vibrating. So even as like a being, there's a frequency you're putting off. So I guess music is frequencies. So there are certain frequencies
like
that are more in tune with you.
Change your frequency.
And not change or like matches your frequency at a particular time better than others, something like that.
Yeah, man. I definitely had our lecturer speak about this at Makerere. Because I remember he would be like, who have you guys come in this class? And then there's some guys like, we came here for sound therapy. And he's like, we don't actually offer sound therapy here, but I'll talk about it. And then he told guys about how people can heal themselves with sounds and do all these crazy things and what. And that was the first time that I actually got to find out how deep sound can go. Because I thought everyone had come for music. You dig? But then when I got to realize that, man, there's a whole lot more you can do. There's that whole sector of music therapy that's very crazy. What people can do with sound and how they can use it to heal. And it's like Asian cultures have been doing this for a very long time. Even African cultures, though, have been using the sounds differently because there's a way our chants were used to heal people. But then those guys were using like bowls. You dig, they were like the singing bowls. And us were using chants. And if you listen to the chants or the bowls, they have a similar effect on you.
We're probably also using like drums and like
drums,
strings.
The strings, yes, the strings were very, because melodies at the end of the day also have that therapeutic effect on the body.
Yeah.
But then also you have to know how to listen to them, because there's a way you have to allow them into the body, and then they're able to affect you.
Nah, for me, that's how I feel about drums, bro. Drums are therapeutic for me. Like, sometimes I just listen to, there's this guy called, I think it's called Tim Allen. He's a guy who's a drum for fella. That guy can just drum a sick beat and you just listen to that guy on the drums for like hours. So, and when I listen to him, I just feel like
crazy.
It's so sick, bro.
What's his name again?
Tim Allen, no Allen. We'll look him up after this. Okay. I'll show him to you. But it's Allen something, but he passed away, R.I.P.
My favorite thing was a couple of years ago, there was that podcast called the Dissect Podcast. It's still on, to be fair. But then he dissects all like the most fire albums. They're his favorite albums, but incidentally, a lot of them are albums I enjoyed. But you know, when you listen to music, and you're not certain why that music is connecting so much, but you just know that it is connecting.
Yeah.
And then as he dissects it, you realize that these artists are so intentional with the notes that they're using. Like there's particular notes in music which are meant to incite like sadness. And then others that are meant to incite joy. And then there's guys who will blend them. And then there's guys who like, bro, listen.
A lot of it is like music theory. Because if you think about it from the most basic music theory, for example, major keys are mostly like happiness, stuff like that. Minor keys are majorly like sadness, low kind of music, stuff like that. So it's quite intentional.
It is.
The thing about it for me, though, is very few artists nowadays know that.
I think that guys just.
I'm not judging them because I'm not an artist. But
I think guys don't pay attention. I think, bro, music is one of those. It's one of those arts where like the audience is so disconnected, bro, and you don't have the time to keep explaining to guys that this is what I was trying to do on this song. So for guys, just listen for what they want to listen for, and then move on. You dig? But I don't think that's a thing that the artists don't know, bro. The fact that we know, the artists most definitely know, man.
How many of you know? That's the question.
We have an artist here, man. We should ask you.
Nah, I definitely know. I definitely know that, you know, sound affects people. Because, listen, I use sound to heal myself all the time. Like, if I get a headache, I'm going to go look for a particular frequency to listen to.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Everyone knows this. Like, and if you chill with me and I wake up in the morning and, like, my brain is feeling, like, foggy, I'm going to listen to a frequency.
Yeah.
So
do that.
My Apple Music library has way more frequencies than actual albums. It has way more frequencies because I'll be like trying to like get into a space. If I'm meditating on a frequency. So I know what sound can do, but my thing is also how do you incorporate all these things
into music?
Yeah, into like one specific sound. Because if I have like first of all, if I'm trying to do like a cultural sound, like a cultural African sound, and I know about these frequencies and stuff, and I know about this and that, you need like a sound engineer who's studied to a certain level, you know, to be able to do these things. And that's what we lack here. That's what people might have that side, that they're able to manipulate sound to a level that it's going to impact you subconsciously without even you having to know a single thing about the sound. I've not heard of sound engineers here who have that level of, you know, understanding or what. You have to understand that a lot of our knowledge here, or anywhere around the world today, is coming from YouTube, where the internet.
That is exactly.
And
what
so
I'm
you
saying.
have to be very intentional about saying, you know what, I wanna learn how to like say, not manipulate, but utilize sounds or apply sounds in a way that they can be able to raise people's consciousness.
For example, think about it this way.
Yeah,
there is a reason as to why, like nowadays, a lot of say hip hop or mainstream rap music has a lot of like say 808s, and you're like, fine, this beat slaps, there's a way it like hits your soul, but it's because an 808 is primarily a frequency. When you go down to the very basic thing of it and in relation to like sound and everything, and so you'll find that different 808s will hit you different ways. You'll find, for example, an 808 in like a hip hop song has a different effect from an 808 or a log drum in an amapiano song. One will make you chill, one will make you dance, stuff like that. So my thing is, I'm not saying they do not know, I'm just saying the effect is probably negated when they're making the content. They're just like, let's make an amapiano song.
I think when you look at the music and look at it just as result of like just the music itself, you're looking at it from like you're looking at it too close to the. You have to look at it like much deeper than that, because music is it's a product of a culture. It comes from a culture, so it's not like a happy culture is gonna go and make 808s that are sad.
Yeah,
you understand it, because they're making music that's representative of who they are as a people. So you'll find that a lot of these things, they just create themselves out of coincidence, and then these theories come and explain them and then try to make it look like some kind of science was applied. When in actual sense, sometimes the science is not there. It's the theory that's coming from the product and not the product coming out of the theory. You understand? Yeah. So that's why I'm saying music is just not the producer creating a sound. It usually does that, because how does a sound get pushed beyond its culture? It's the culture to first accept it. So when we're learning about music, the first thing you learn is that music is not music unless the culture accepts it as music. You understand? Because who are you going to give it to?
Yeah.
You understand? It has to be accepted in a place by people. And then the people will begin eventually taking on the characters. Or you'll begin... Because you also ask yourself, do musicians impact the society through the things they say, or do they say things that the society does?
Both, I think.
You see both. But then to what end? Like to what percentage?
To what degree?
You understand? Because sometimes the musicians could just be the voice of what's going on in the culture. Yeah. Or sometimes it could be the other way around when the musicians are saying these things that are actually killing the people or inspiring the people, depending on how you look at it.
It's definitely the first one to a greater degree where they're saying what's happening in the society.
They're saying what's happening in the society. I also feel the same way. So this music here, it's usually the culture. Like I'm a piano, Africa, guys like to dance, guys like to be happy. So as a producer, you're looking for that sound on this scale of keys that resonates with the people there. And then that's what the whole world is going to eventually resonate with. So these guys did not do it so much with like the physics in mind. They did it with the reactions of the people that they're looking at.
True. My question though is, for people entering the market or entering the space, what is the place for you to know that? Not going by trend, but by effect, as you're saying.
Entering as like making the music or consuming it.
Making the music. Yeah. So for example, we know the effect Amapiano has now.
Yeah.
We know the people who primarily make it, which is Southern Africa. So let's say a Ugandan wants to make an Amapiano track.
Yeah.
To what extent do they have to know this knowledge?
Like connect with the culture.
Oh, it's very important, man. You just don't go there because you're going to blunder. Like, think about this. I'll tell you about what I know because I'm a Ugandan and I know about Kadongo Kamu music, for example. I know about Chizino from where we're from in Kavale. And I know Kadongo Kamu music is different because Kadongo Kamu, first of all, was made for Moros.
Yeah, that's true.
It had to communicate Moros.
Yeah.
And then it had to be communicated in a way that the kids would not understand. So there were metaphors. Yeah. And the metaphors
primarily
could be
like
if it was sexual and whatever.
That,
and then it was also done through storytelling. Do you understand? So there was nothing like a chorus. The fact that it's called Kadongo Kamu meant there was one tempo.
Yeah.
You understand? One drum, it would go along that. So if you did not know these things, you could not go outside there and start making Kadongo Kamu if first of all you're not speaking about Moros. Because this is what they were trying to maintain in society. This is what they held highly. And then you're going to have to hide all these things from the kids and say them in a way that they... And then the Chizino had a very different thing. They were doing this... If, like, for example, people were trying to get, like, married, it would come and the music was used for people to express... first of all, they were using the calabashes and stuff. Right from drinking alcohol, they would turn those things that they were using to drink alcohol into musical instruments.
From morning to evening.
You dig?
Everything.
So, right after turning up, you use this stuff, turn it into musical instruments, and then they would start dancing. But then the goal, remember, if someone was to pick a husband in this Chizino dance, someone who had to express the highest level of energy is one who would pick a wife. So you'd have to jump and stomp the ground. So the person who stomps the ground the heaviest and everyone feels the ground shaking would be the hardest guy. And that would be the guy to go and get married.
I think it's really just a mating dance, bro. To be honest.
It's
just a mating ritual.
I've seen my uncles dance, and they never use that much energy in their lives.
Yeah, bro.
Never, bro.
Now, because now it's not really being used for the effect it was used for.
Yeah.
But then...
If that guy try and catch a bird,
you dig.
trust me.
You dig.
Bro, culture is so simple. If you go down to the roots, they're like, just stomp that ground, you'll get away.
But then you look at all these things, even the way they fit, the way they dress well, doing all these things, they contribute. So if you come in and then you want to participate in that culture and expect to get acceptance by the culture, then of course you must know what these things mean. Otherwise, you're going to get rejected. You remember when Georgia Smith dropped an Amapiano song and everyone in the UK was tripping?
Really?
Yeah, man. Guys were trying to enrich you.
I never
heard about this.
And people feel like, man, if you're going to come and try to take from our culture, at least understand the culture. Because you're going to go and dress in some raggedy way. Like, French Mountain, I think, was banned from a lot of, like, Arabic countries because they're like, man, you're pushing yourself out to be a Muslim, but then you're not embodying the Muslim culture.
You know them, they're very sensitive about that.
But then you see Salah gets the opposite because he's actually, he's aware of the culture. He knows how to behave in the culture and how to represent it. Salah, Muhammad Salah. So you find as a result, Muslims are sending him money and they're giving him land and they're giving him this and that. Right now, Salah may even own a whole country if you add these pieces of land together. You dig it, but that's just showing you what happens when there's awareness in a culture, and then you come to that culture with that level of awareness.
Now let me ask you a question. At what point do you, I don't know how to ask this question, but what I'm trying to say is there are people who are from a certain culture, but they want to experience or experiment with another.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for example,
Just say Drake, bro.
let's go with that.
Just say Drake. Just say Drake.
Let's go with Drake. You've listened to his new
Yeah,
album.
sneezing
Yeah.
right
Yes,
now.
I've listened to Drake's new album.
Yeah, you get Drake right
Bro,
now. He has
let me tell you,
hiccups.
Every
you get.
Drake album since like a More Life.
It's all
what came
different.
first, Views or More Life? Views came first.
Views.
Yeah.
Views was first.
Yeah,
Views
every
was
Drake
first.
album since Views. Just experimenting different cultures. Bro. I think you're just touching
True,
everything.
true. Now let me ask you a question. Yeah?
Yeah.
You've listened to that album,
Yeah.
and we all know he has got backlash. People have said all the kinds of things they have to say. Me, I took it a bit personal. I took it a bit personal because I was like, I get it. It's different, very different from what he normally does. However, the US they have too much influence on everyone. In that, if they say something is trash, it's
I
trash.
just think it's trash.
No.
I don't
you
think so.
that-
No.
I just think American media just has a way of overshadowing, but it's not the truth, bro.
Yeah, true. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Now, for example, why I took it personal. A lot of the people who produced that thing, I listen to them a lot.
A lot you do, bro.
Yeah. For example, like Black Coffee. For me,
Yeah.
that's the guy who I really listen to.
Mm.
Yeah. Black Coffee is primarily
House
Well,
music.
house,
music.
and he's also African. So for me, I have a bias. I'm
He
like,
took-
hey, this
he
is
took it
my
personal,
guy.
Like, these guys are haters.
Yeah. And then when I was going through like Twitter, a lot of YouTubers I watch, a lot of these guys are saying Drake didn't put enough effort in this, or what was he thinking? And I'm like, bro, Drake is not even American. Why you guys
God.
stressing the man? Let him experiment. If you don't like it, move on. Don't start saying he didn't put enough effort in it.
I think guy's issue is not that he was experimenting, is that it was trash. I think it was trash.
It
See,
wasn't
that's
trash.
subjective.
It wasn't trash.
That's what they're
very
trying to now
subjective.
convey. They are subjective
I know people who
opinions.
listen to Black Coffee a lot, and they were saying the album was trash. And I
No,
was like, bro,
Black Coffee is lit, but he can also do bog work.
No.
It's not possible. It's not possible.
It's not.
First leave Black Coffee out of
It's
this.
not, bro. Black Coffee can do
No.
trash house music.
I have nothing against Black Coffee. I like some Black Coffee songs, but that Drake album, you can relax.
For
You
me,
guys-
I
It's
his best work. It's his
enjoyed-
best work.
I
Yo, can I
enjoyed
say
that
Is it
something?
Black
album.
Coffee's best work?
I personally feel like, cause I even tweeted about this shit. I was like, cause that morning Drake dropped. I think it was like a surprise album because none of us were expecting
Yeah, it dropped
the
at
thing
like
to
6
drop.
a.m.
Yeah.
So now I'm listening to the album. I'm bathing. I'm like I was with some chick who were bathing. Yo, I check Twitter. I'm seeing everyone is tripping. So now in my head, I'm like, all these guys tripping. First of all, are American people. And then the next thing I was like, Americans had this whole entitlement to music, feeling like if you're gonna be big in the world, you have to pass through America, right? So they feel like we're the prime target market for good music in the world, and even they're still trying to sell that perspective to us through the BETs and the Grammys, giving us some funny categories and stuff. Like I saw Thames winning some shit, and I
World
was like,
music,
nah, man,
not
fuck
jazz.
you, Thames. Can I cuss on this thing?
Best international act.
Can I cuss on this thing?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
free.
man, I was like, fuck you, Thames. I'm not going to celebrate that trophy. Because why am I celebrating it? Kenzo won it and he's still out here in UG every other day. Like, I no disrespect to Kenzo because he's still one of the greatest, most legendary. But I feel like if you win trophies of this significance, then you must be able to have impact in the world and communities because these things are supposed to give you exposure and influence at the same time. Because they're supposed to be symbols in society that, you know, you've achieved something major. But then what these things actually for is like now like symbols for locking up our minds because they're selling us this perspective that we need American approval, you know, before we can get anywhere sensible. And I'm telling these guys, like, man, it does not make any sense. Drake dropped an album for Africa because right now Africa is the market that's controlling the industry. You dig? Even the UK people have to drop music for Africa. Everywhere, you dig? So right now we're the ones controlling the music. We're the ones who say who is lit. If we have decided Asake is the most lit, then Asake is the most lit. You dig?
Yeah.
If we have decided we're gonna only listen to the Future song on his album where Thames is on it, that's what we're gonna listen to.
That's
and that
actually
will be
every
the
album
banger.
nowadays.
You dig? Yes. So
Yeah.
now if those guys realize that, oh man, I have to get an African because I need the whole African market to make this song big, then we're the ones controlling the industry. So our awards should now be the biggest awards, but our media should now be the biggest media. But just because those things have not yet happened, people are still gonna, try and trick us into believing things that we're not supposed to believe. But I tell you this for a fact, bro. Perception can easily be altered by just very small things. You understand? And I do not want us as black people's perceptions to be altered, because we're the ones controlling the shit right now. And those guys, what they're trying to do is get pissed off because we're the ones. It's annoying, bro. It's fucking annoying, actually. Let me just say this shit, bro. It's motherfucking black people that side who are also tripping.
Who are mad.
Now let me show you why, bro. These are very brainwashed black people. Do you know why?
Why?
Because think about this shit, bro. You've come from Africa, you've gone that side. It only makes sense that when you get any bit of consciousness, it must lead back into Africa. You dig? Like, Africa is a strong place. Because even Banner said it, even Fela said it before Banner, even Martin Luther said it, that until Africa is a superpower, black people outside Africa can never be strong. It's the same reason why white people come here, and then guys are like, release those white people immediately. It's because they're superpowers that side. You dig? So it didn't make sense to me why those black people would start chanting down our shit. You understand?
It's like you said, bro, it's cultural, man.
Okay, for them they have...
Yeah, but they've been brainwashed. Like, I'm trying to show you that the black people that side, they have been brainwashed to a level that we misunderstand what they mean by black consciousness. I mean, right now they're listening to Afrobeat, right? But then they're still discrediting. Like, they listen to Afrobeat as a thing of like, yeah, Africa is rising, Africa is growing, but we're still a superpower. And they're still identifying themselves as Americans. You understand? They're not identifying themselves as black people to be like, this is our shit, let's learn it, let's incorporate it, let's do what. Yeah. They're still criticizing Drake because they used to rap. Your rap has already been like very, very, very diluted. You dig, eh? Because now rap is the thing that's killing consciousness of black people the most. You dig, eh? People are talking about killing each other all the time, and drugs and guns, and all the lean pandemic was from where? You dig, where kids were fucking getting strokes for taking lean. Where was that from? You dig, and now all the kids wasting their money on ice and whatever. Where is that from? You dig, eh? All the low levels of consciousness penetrating the youth is mostly coming out of the American culture. You dig, and this is a culture that those guys still want to embody. Even when our culture is trying to speak about love, it's trying to speak about, embodying what's ours, trying to bring out actual sound, actual dance moves and stuff. So I feel like, fuck the media in America, fuck the Americans, even the black ones, until they get common sense, because they really do not have it, man. They don't have it. And they should have it, because this is the time to really be African and proud. Because before you couldn't, because guys were going to ridicule you. You dig. But now you can in whichever part of the world you're in, you can actually be African and proud.
Thank you. You've taken
you
my
dig.
words. Now, for me, my question is, at what point do you accept that either the content is trash or you've been brainwashed? Does that make sense?
There's not being brainwashed. Let me just start from there. It's Amapiano music. First of all, we're talking Drake did an Amapiano album, right?
Yeah, it's primarily house.
Okay, it's house. Yeah, it's house. Deep house. Okay, they may be different, but we get the picture.
Yeah, it's the same.
You dig it? Yeah, it's
album.
South African culture.
Dance,
Yeah, South African dance music. So, the thing is, bro, even if we say we love Amapiano music, we don't know what the fuck they're saying.
Yeah.
True.
You dig it? Ultimately, what we love is the beat and the melody. You
How
dig?
it makes us feel.
Exactly. And what Drake gave people was a beat and a melody. It's just that now you can hear the words.
Yeah.
If you sang in South Africans, everyone would be like, man, it's Kawa. You dig, but it's just a beat and it's even Afrobeat. What do we like? The beat, the melody, and maybe the accent. We like the accent very much because that shit bangs. You dig? But if someone gave you those two things, because bro, I don't know what those guys are saying. I just be hearing the melody is beautiful, the drums are beautiful.
I think those guys will be willing to. They'll be willing to accept Drake music if it was good.
Okay, let me
One
ask.
dance slapped.
What do you think is bad about this
What is
album?
bad about that album?
It's just not okay. I don't think it's bad.
Is it the music that's
It
bad?
doesn't sound like
it's
Drake.
trash.
No, that's now for me. That's my biggest issue.
It's the
not
issue.
Drake.
My guys were criticizing this album. The music of it, like if you separated the music from, like if there are no Drake words,
Yeah.
but the music
would
is
be-
good. The music is really
The
good.
instrument
we
was
can't do that.
banging.
We can't do
But then
that.
let's even not do that.
We can't do that.
The things that Drake is saying, bro, Drake is saying Drake things. And he's saying them
Exactly.
well, bro.
Relax.
I swear.
Drake,
Just
those
good
last
Drake,
two songs
yeah.
were beautiful.
Those last two songs, one is
Because
an
it's
R&B
what you
song
know.
and one is
It's
a
what
rap
you
song.
know.
Now that is Drake.
Do you like
guys.
Sticky?
Sticky? First of all, I haven't listened.
You
You know,
know,
speaking
yes,
gay.
yes.
You gave listen. That's
Sticky so fire, you gay.
Let me tell you, the biggest issue that guys have with this Drake album is just familiarity bias.
Exactly.
Guys are just
Guys want to
uncomfortable
listen to
with
Let me tell you, Drake as an artist,
And also Drake
cannot
finally
swing
like
too
acknowledged
far.
African culture to a very deep level. And this is the artist that Americans were like, you know what? If Africans are taking over, Drake is gonna drop and we're gonna remind them that no, Americans still have the shit. And then Drake came and told them,
And
no, you
drops
guys,
African
listen,
shit.
Africans took over, allow. And then they're like, nah, bro.
I don't think there's
Because
African
now who
people
else?
like
If
that.
Drake has done an
Drake-
African album,
I
who
think
else?
Drake has been trying to give these guys a soft launch. Like, obviously, that guy has been like the leader of the culture for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
But I think he tried to give them a soft launch in views. He did that one dance shit and that controller shit. And then More Life tried to give him another soft launch. You know, More Life, he couldn't even call it an album because he knew how guys would react.
Yeah.
Like a soft launch, it's a playlist, put a few dance things in there. Then every other album, there's another cut dance tune. This time he just said, listen, these guys have just given me $400 or $800 million or $1 billion.
Yeah.
I don't care what you guys think anymore. Take his dance album.
And you see, what annoys me a
Yo.
lot is, you remember when Drake was doing the drilly
Yeah,
nonsense, when he released
yeah.
like Whoa
bro.
was
Guys,
it was
laugh.
kawa.
Why is he doing UK thing?
Guys
Da, da,
were
da.
tripping in the UK.
guys were like, what's
Why
this?
is Drake
What's-
rapping like
yeah.
this? Bro,
And
3
then,
years later.
when drill and
Real
grind became a
culture.
thing,
Yeah.
guys were like,
You know, like,
Drake
no one's
guy.
giving him credit. Guys are saying about New York grill, about
Hey.
drill. They've been drilling since what?
When
Drake
Pop
is
Smoke
like,
But
started,
I
they
don't
were
feel
like,
like the
"This
credit
Drake
is for
guy."
Drake, yo. The
You don't
credit
give
is
it
for
to
Pop
me, though.
Smoke, though.
Listen,
It's
but
not
Drake,
for Drake,
but Drake
bro.
did that shit
Drake,
before Pop Smoke
Drake
did.
that shit poorly. Let me just say, Drake that did that
Yeah,
shit
but then
poorly.
this is my question.
Drake
This is
came
my
on.
question.
No,
You
let me
like how
tell
he has
you.
done this one?
You guys,
Yeah.
I like what we're discussing about what it takes for someone from a different culture to go into another culture. Yeah? And this is the thing, what it takes incorporation. It doesn't take you going and taking you. You get some of yours, you put it there, and then you get some of theirs, you try and mix it in. With respect, awareness, and knowledge, you understand?
That's what he did.
That's what, I feel like this guy went and got, bro, Drake killed Drake and then went and became a became like a UK
No, but
citizen.
you-
And he has done that
Let me-
again this
You
Yeah,
time.
understand?
This is my
Nah,
problem.
he
This is
hasn't
my
done that.
problem.
He hasn't done that. This time he has incorporated the Drake we know.
No.
Yo, what the fuck was that
I think it's
accent?
just because now you're just you're trying to like
Okay,
defend
bro.
it so much.
But let me tell you guys.
Melvin, let me just say this, bro.
Okay.
That accent Drake went in with, when guys were even saying he's using Heady One's flow,
Bro, let
you
me tell you
dig
what-
it?
let me tell you what
He
that
sounded
is
like
about.
Heady One on everything, bro.
Let me tell you what
Even
that
his
is.
teas were like, I'm like, bro, are you from the what?
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why
Pop
Drake
Smoke,
does that
you can
shit.
tell this is a UK nigga. I mean, a New York nigga. He has incorporated drill. He has incorporated what he likes about it, and now he has given it his own style. Like Drake drill is not supposed to sound like a random UK rapper. It's supposed to sound like Drake.
But
You
it
dig? It
does,
sounded like a
bro.
random UK rapper.
No.
I just mentioned this
But I
album.
feel like it
actually.
sounded too
no,
much
He has
like a
spoken it
random
so
UK
beautifully.
rapper, bro.
Now
I
for
think he
you,
has just
for
done
you-
the same thing again.
No, he
No
has
way.
done Drake.
bro.
Nah,
No way.
Now he
Just
has
the
done
guy is
Drake.
just the problem.
No way.
But you see, for me, this is my thing.
Okay,
This is my
Melvin, how
thing.
would you feel? Because you refused
Bro,
to
this
tell
is my
me.
thing. Firstly, obviously you guys know Canada was colonized by the UK, but then UK like pop culture, I mean Canadian pop culture is still very heavily influenced
Yeah,
by the
UK,
UK.
Jamaica.
If you
they
listen
have-
to if you listen to like Canadian slang, that shit is almost fully British, bro.
yeah.
Like I wish you guys could listen to them. They be saying the same things. Have you listened to those Drake interludes? Where he
I've
sounds
listened
as if
to-
West Indian, as
Yeah,
if
I've listened to
British, as if-
Canadian music, and it's like normal UK.
So
yeah,
So even like British music, it's really big in Canada, you get. So Drake like pivoting to the UK and to the drill scene over there, I feel like it was inevitable that like he was going to like play with a lingo. Like I do remember when he did I think he did that's the first song he ever did with Heady One. I think it might be the one you're talking about.
yeah. It's
Where they are in Dubai and
something
he first
freestyle.
raps in Arabic.
Yeah,
Guys,
something
you guys remember that
freestyle.
shit?
What?
He rapped in Arabic.
Something
Guys didn't
freestyle.
like that shit. I mean, I've been thinking that shit is so fly, bro.
That was either the
it was
second or the first drill song. I feel like the first drill song didn't have Heady on it.
No, it did.
He
It
had
was
that
war.
one song where
It
he
was
was
war.
whoa, yeah,
Whoa,
whoa.
whoa, whoa.
Who is that I'm
But you see,
thinking
this
of?
is my issue. For me, my question is, why, when Pop Smoke came, and then also UK drill started popping, why did people start liking Drake's jams now?
Bro.
They all rose in streams.
Did they start liking them?
They really did.
Which jams are
They
these?
really did. War, I remember, like if you look at those graph Spotify gives you, War's streams went up when Pop Smoke and drill started popping. Same with that freestyle song with Heady One.
But what was a fire jam?
Now,
Yes, it was him
now.
copying, but it was fire.
Let me tell you Drake's part in almost every culture that he call it what you want, whether it's culture vulturing, whether he's whatever. Drake's role is to just touch that culture and then bring it to the masses. And then whoever does that thing best will pop off inevitably. That's literally what Drake does.
Yeah,
always.
but I feel like bro, I feel like when Drake went into the UK drill thing, he didn't really give it a spotlight because like Drake drill what that shit wasn't lit like as people wanted it to be.
Bro, even when he did
But
Afrobeats,
let me finish. Like, you know what a Drake banger is supposed to be like. Like Drake can have that shit that slaps and plays back to back non-stop.
Yes.
But then when Pop Smoke went and did drill, Pop Smoke brought the whole world to drill. Yo, for me the first time I had Pop Smoke, bro, I almost ran mad.
I remember.
You dig? I almost ran mad.
I remember, guys.
The whole world almost ran mad. You dig? Until now. Yo, that guy went and like he saved the whole UK culture. I mean the whole New York culture, because the New York culture even musically.
New York rap music was dead.
Yeah, it was dying out and there was no one.
I
And he was doing that even with UK sound. This guy would be flying back and forth Europe and USA like as if you dig, like we expected that to happen to Drake when he dropped those songs. Like for him to start, you know,
and let me tell you, I don't agree.
I want us to accept that Pop Smoke really gave the drill music scene like
Yeah.
all the,
He was the one. No,
yeah.
he was the one. But I don't think that he would have popped off without Drake.
Let me tell you, I don't agree that Drake is the one that puts on all these other like new upcoming sounds.
No, in
bro.
America, I mean.
Maybe in America, but
Yeah,
even
in
still,
America.
I'm not so sure, bro.
Okay.
Because when he dropped that drill thing, that when he was in the whole drill sound, the drill did not pop off in the States like that. It was Pop Smoke again who did that. Before that, when he did Afrobeats, when he kind of doubled and put Wizkid on one dance, if you can even call that Afrobeats, bro, like that did not particularly shift the West into now Afrobeats music like America or whatever. They're just catching on now. And that has nothing to do with Drake.
That's crazy.
Drake
You
dropping
think that
this
has
thing.
nothing to do with Drake, bro. That is crazy.
Let me tell you why I think it
just
has
like
nothing-
a pioneering role
let
in
me
that.
let me
in that
explain.
whole
Let me
Afrobeat
explain. Let
thing.
me explain why for me personally it has nothing to do with Drake.
Yes.
The first time I
please.
listened to that one dance song, bro, I looked for Wizkid.
I agree. I
Like which
remember.
part is
remember.
Wizkid on this song, bro?
Mm.
That's why I cannot give him like any Afrobeats credit, bro. Like that guy had a perfect opportunity to put on Wizkid
What is an
properly.
Afrobeats song?
One dance.
Yeah.
Apparently it is. It's hailed as like the first Afrobeat song to go number one.
To go crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
Even when he had Banner Boy on My
And
Life.
yo, you
that
think
guy
it's
threw
that
him under the
song and
sink
not
again.
Oliver Twist?
That's Oliver Twist.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
No. That's what I'm saying. Maybe you can say it's Oliver Twist, but
But
you
it's
can't say
obviously
you
Oliver
can't, you can't
Twist.
say it's Drake or One Dance or anything.
But
Like
the
he
gap
didn't
between
shift
the
any
gap between
culture
Oliver
there.
Twist and One Dance is big.
And also can say it's Oliver
That's-
Twist. It's probably like some P Square jam.
Go relax.
In that
What are you
state.
talking about?
In the States, okay, P Square was doing songs
Nah,
in
in the
UK.
States, Oliver Twist was major because Kanye West was on that shit, remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Kanye West was on that shit. But then also, it's like the Afrobeat thing has been like knocking on guys' door for some time. And
Of
also
course.
like while guys here organizing themselves. What? Because even Ice Prince came and gave it a good push. And
Yeah, I
he
just feel
almost
like,
got
bro,
somewhere.
no one walks guys through the door like Drake does. That's all I'll say, bro. Even when you say about Wizkid could barely be hard, bro, but Drake walked him through that door. Everyone
Yeah,
knew
yeah,
this
man,
guy is
with-
on that
With
song.
Wizkid, eh?
That's the biggest song
Actually,
in the
not
world.
so
he's
much
on
as
it.
Afrobeat. Guys should say he walked Wizkid through and Wizkid took Afrobeat there.
Bro, I can tell you guys how
Big.
many. You can't believe how
Bro,
many guys just
I
walked
didn't
through
say that.
door.
Me-
Because I feel like that's knocking Wizkid and all the hard work he has done.
No, it's
No,
not
no,
knocking
no, no,
Wizkid
no,
in
don't
knock
any
him
way,
at
bro.
all.
Even-
It's also respecting Drake and actually recognizing what the fuck he did for Wizkid.
Me, I feel like
Because he gave him
Drake.
access to people, bro.
I feel like
a whole lot of people.
Drake had the okay, maybe behind the scenes, like back door, maybe he introduced him to some people. But I'm not talking about
Not
just
behind
the
the
song.
scenes, like in front of people's faces,
Yeah.
No, me. First of all, that
Putting
song had
his
no
name
video.
on that
song
song.
had no
You
video.
see, the thing. There's two different things. Now, Burna Boy, you can't say Drake put Burna Boy on.
Okay,
Burna Boy's name, they didn't put Burna Boy's name on that song. On
listen.
More Life.
Yes, he put that buy's name on that song. I'm not saying this guy did nothing for this guy's career.
More
bro.
Life, the song, bro, on the
More Life.
album. Remember Burna Boy's song? More Life.
Yeah.
That was a Drake jam. It was supposed to be on Drake. It was supposed to be on More Life, the
Yeah.
playlist.
And bro, you can't even hear
It's there at the end of I think Passion
slightly.
Fruit.
Yeah.
One of the songs at the end. So like, and that's if like more evidence what I'm trying to say. Drake has a perfect opportunity to put on like these guys who are actually popping years before they have popped. Like if he put him banner on that song, More Life, or if he actually gave Wizkid a verse on One Dance, like then I'd say, okay, this guy is really pushing like these guys for these artists, bro. Like the same way he pushed, what was this guy's name? Lil Baby. When Drake did the song with Lil Baby had the whole verse. That one, like Lil Baby was
It
introduced
was
to
a
the
Lil
world.
Baby song, I think.
Yeah, it was a.
Now,
yeah,
I
it was
think
a Lil
if you're
Baby
looking at
song.
it from
Give
that
that 10 baby.
perspective, it's like Drake also didn't do for Lil Baby so much. Lil Baby was lit.
Was hard.
Yeah.
It was
That's the thing.
lit.
But
like,
Lil Baby's verse, that verse on
Let me
that
tell you
song, that
you're,
song
you're
that he
really
did.
downplaying what Drake does. What Drake has done for those
That's what I
guys.
was
Because
about to say. You guys are making
Drake has
Drake
done
a
so much,
charity
guys.
case.
Just
Drake has
seeing-
done so much.
That's what it seems like to me,
100%.
bro.
just seeing one dance
has done so
and
much.
seeing Wizkid's name, and if you tap on that Wizkid thing like this, pop, and even listen to one Wizkid song, you hook.
let me use my example. One, I didn't listen to any drill music until War. That's Drake. I did not listen to any Black Coffee until he released that. You need me to get that shit together. That's the first time.
That's Georgia Smith as well.
Exactly. That's the first time I started listening to house, and I've been listening to it ever since. That's how I started. Like, I'm a piano. That's Drake, bro. That's me.
Yeah,
That's me. How many me's are there? They're not few. They're not few. Don't discredit that
bro. And we
man's
can't.
work.
We can't say terms. We can't say terms would have popped off. Do you know we can't?
Okay.
Do you know that terms album that guys are hyping was put out in 2019? In a fucking pandemic. Do you remember?
Orange is a
Not
place.
Orange, the other one.
No, the Tim song that
Free
popped
Mind.
off in the States was not the Drake song. It was
Yeah,
Essence.
no,
That's Essence.
no. This is what I'm saying. Drake, what am I saying? What album was Thames on of Drake? This last one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The certified.
Was that Thames? Was Essence already popping by then?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It dropped in the
Okay, fair enough, fair
Essence
enough.
is
like
older
2 years
than
old
the
now.
album. But
Yeah.
me,
Okay, so we
what I'm
can't
saying
credit.
is-
that
We
was
can't
Justin
credit Drake
Bieber,
with
though.
Bro,
Thames.
let me
You
tell you,
can't
Drake
credit
has
Drake
an
with
eye
Thames.
for who is coming up next, and he knows how to attach himself to that person somehow. It's not just in music, even like in
But
basketball
that's
and
my
all these
thing.
other things.
It
He knows how to
The
do
language
it.
is so
Man,
important.
it's sort
bro.
of like a
The language is so
symbiosis.
It's how he
important.
does it.
Is he
Yeah.
attaching himself to them, or is he attaching them to him, bro?
I think it's both. They
Who's
need each other.
benefiting
It's a
more?
symbiosis,
Because
man. It's a
Drake-
symbiosis.
Drake is who has been popping. This guy is popping right now. So when
Yo,
Drake attaches his
Think
brand
about
to
this,
them,
Melvin. Even Banner is doing a very similar thing right now.
yes.
Because Banner will jump on the remixes of so many collabos. So you want to ask yourself is who is
Who's
it helping?
helping
But it's
who?
a symbiosis, man. It's helping both of them.
Me, I don't think with Drake
Now,
it's a symbiosis.
I'll give Drake
bro.
that. It's like
Have
he's
you guys
very
heard
good at
have you guys heard that Drake is
symbiosis.
responsible for 16% of worldwide music sales? As in,
Yeah,
he's
I saw that
his,
stat.
his market share of the music industry in
I
the
saw that
world is
stat.
16%. One artist. That has never happened ever.
That's crazy.
You know how crazy that is.
That's
bro.
crazy.
Me, I feel like people like, for me, the thing is Americans want to own Drake. They really want to own. They want to determine what he does,
Yeah.
and yet it's his music. Now, like 3 years from now, when everyone starts listening to house, they'll be like, this Drake guy. So, but he didn't put Black Coffee on because he just had him like in the credits,
Yeah.
and that's what people.
Credits are important.
Anyway,
Credits are
me, that's all I have to
important,
say. My issue right now is just people trying to control.
Yeah, but now
the
we should have seen
narrative.
Black Coffee's name all over things.
But also, I mean, all things considered, bro, the Americans, if it's not an American genre, the Americans are always the last to catch up, bro. Oh, in the world, bro, they're always the last
Yeah.
guys.
I feel like
Afrobeats, them catching up to it now, bro. They are like 15 years late, bro.
now that's definitely the case with Afrobeats. They're literally the last to
With
the
their
Yeah.
drill shit, they were the
even
last.
the bangers, bro. The bangers
with-
there be like older songs here.
Yeah, bro. I think Essence, bro.
That
Essence
shit is
already-
funny, man.
Essence had been out for like 2
Win an
years.
award last.
That
This
shit is
beat
very
is.
But
funny,
they just
man.
called Thames best new artist. Thames has been doing music
Uh-huh.
for like the last 10 years.
Essence
bro.
is the best.
Do you know, I
best
actually
over
grew up.
collab or something like that.
I grew up seeing Americans making fun of like other countries, Russians and what for like
Yeah.
receiving shit very late.
Late. Kumbe.
And now I'm like, these niggas in that same position even
last
with the
year.
when it
internet.
comes to
bro.
Afrobeats. you guys.
so
And that-
funny, man.
That's what worries me about
Afrobeats.
Afrobeats now. Because if these guys have found caught onto this thing, I feel like that's the last frontier. After it now just becomes like commercial, and it now becomes
I get your point.
they dilute it after this point in time.
Bro, for me, my favorite thing about Afrobeats is that it's almost like they're now conscious of it, the artists, that we definitely want to make that American music, like we want to make that American money, but there's no way that we maintain the vibe if we lose touch with here. So they'll keep touring here, what, then go to America for like 3 months, like Burna Boy, then come back here to record, then tour here, then go back. Like they need to stay connected, bro, for the vibe to sustain. Remember David shit when he was signed to Sony and he first fell off, bro, for like a year. Did songs with Meek Mill. What shit was not connected. The guy, apparently, what was I watching? Where he said he just came back to Nigeria and just started recording with his producer.
His boys.
And the fire just started coming back, bro.
That's when they recorded Fall and If.
Yeah. Those two. Those exact
That's when
two,
he came
bro.
back.
You know,
Nice.
any-
Didn't know
Listen.
that.
Nah, but shout out
Talk,
Africa.
bro.
I think all these artists, with or without Drake, would have popped.
Never that.
With or without Drake.
America's
Drake is just very good at
Nah,
picking who's
man,
going to
like-
pop next. Who's that
Yo,
next guy about
Afrobeat
to
was
pop?
destined to take over.
They
Bro.
were
Like,
destined.
You know, let me tell you, the best way to look at it is, anyway, you guys might both, we might both be right, because all the guys who he has put on had a back catalog for guys to listen to after that popped off. But
there were guys that were already
There's
gonna
guys-
blow up. They
There's
were
guys
like
already
putting on
gonna blow
pressure.
up.
there's guys who
I
Drake
definitely
tried
agree with you
to
guys
blow
on that.
who failed.
For me, my issue is now
But I love
the
Marco
appropriation of like
No, those are his
Uh,
Canadian dogs, bro. I'm talking
yeah.
about African kings, bro.
Nah, the Africans.
Those are his
bro.
Canadian guys. I am Makonnen word.
Also, of course, by the time the
even
music reaches-
party should be bigger, honestly. Like, cause Drake
For
has
him,
really
I think
put him
he's-
on
Then
some
the
kind of
sweatshop,
shown
the
for the
OVO
right-
sweatshop, all
yeah.
those artists.
Yeah.
Those guys work hard to produce Drake jams, I think. Every day they write all the hits they produce, they first pass them through Drake, man.
then Drake is like, first give me these 5.
You give me this one, you can have the rest, bro. Then
Keep that.
But I definitely agree with you guys. Either way, I feel like Wizkid, Thames, all these people were going to pop. Yeah. But we can't negate the fact that Drake also did something for them. As you were saying, symbiosis.
I know, I'm not
Yeah.
negating
The
the
truth
fact,
is-
but I can also Drake made them pop.
The truth is, they had
Nothing.
already popped.
Mm.
They
In
already
different
popped-
parts of the
They
world.
already popped here,
Yeah.
and most likely
Yeah.
in Europe, and among diasporan communities in America. But they were never going to pop mainstream America without being brought in, bro.
I don't agree, bro. Because look at Essence by Wizkid. That song popped in the States by itself, bro, without any
But
US.
that's
Yeah,
one
but I don't
song
think-
that is
I don't
part
think
of
I
a
listen to
genre.
Wizkid
Like, may I
without
agree
him,
with
bro.
both of you guys. That's
Come
the
again?
thing.
Yo,
Like, Essence popped.
We're going in circles.
DENESI
Mina.
is dead of our
We're
jazz.
going in circles.
no. Because culture-wise, these guys, you look at it from both ways. Like, these guys have a market, these ends, and this market is very, very big. It's in Africa, it's in UK, it's where those guys have a market that side. The reason I'm saying it's a symbiosis is because right now we'd no longer be listening to any of these American artists. You dig? We'll just be listening to ourselves. But what these guys are doing, because man, right now there's over 1 billion streams coming out of Africa. You
True,
dig?
that's
That's
very
gonna
true.
make a whole lot of millions of dollars. So these guys really want this dime. So bro, we could even be having more streams than America if you think about this shit carefully.
No way.
Never.
No way.
And the only reason for it is because of a technological gap.
Yeah,
Maybe.
huge
Yeah.
gap. Bro.
But yeah.
Gap is
That's the only
is an
reason, because
understatement.
more guys have phones in their hands.
Yeah.
But if it was not that, you dig, because even the Premier League market is the same thing. They're like, man, the biggest market would be coming from here, just that there are not enough TVs in front of post screen, so we cannot add enough
It'll
money.
be like 300 guys watching the same screen.
Yeah, that's the problem here.
Guys
But
watching
then
one-
would,
they got it as one view.
would actually be controlling that particular market of Premier League, would be determining which players are bought.
On God, bro.
And eventually, for the Super League to even happen, it's just going to take African technological advancement for us to have enough TVs and stuff in front of people. So for us to be able to be like, no, we don't want to watch all these leagues, guys. Give us one league, put all your best guys on one channel, and we watch that.
Yeah.
The same way they did for basketball or any other thing.
And you have to take some of our guys so that we can watch.
Yeah, and then you have put in
Yeah.
enough guys over us that we watch. That's what it means to control the industry. So I feel like we may be controlling the industry and we're failing to perceive it because all this media is targeting us, try and tell us that these guys are superior. But think about it, these guys may actually be jumping onto these African artists to keep themselves relevant within our communities because we have no reason to be listening to them at this particular point in time.
I agree with you 100%, bro.
You dig, eh?
If anything,
Yeah.
Thames and Wizkid and all that helped Drake continue to pop, bro. Because, because think about when was the last time Drake
But
himself...
let's leave this conversation because Melvin is not gonna allow, and we're also not gonna allow.
playing devil's advocate right here.
Listen,
What else you guys want to talk about?
No, bro. I just wanted to not tell us about the industry here for a bit, man. Let's get into that.
The creative industry here.
Yup.
What industry, bro?
The creative industry, bro. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I thought you were asking me about like the music industry, bro.
It's not creative. It's creative.
No, it's a very small. I'll even tell you, like, it's not even the creative industry that makes the most money, in my opinion. You dig? It's not the music. Is not that make the most money in the creative. I feel like art makes way more money than
By
music.
art, you mean?
Do you mean art of like painting?
art of like painting,
graphics,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel like that stuff makes more money than music, especially if you look at like now in the internet era, there's all this, whether it's digital art or it's like physical art. And then you also look at just the value of art alone. And then you see how much it's demanded and in the places it's demanded and how often. And see like how our artists are flying outside the country all the time. And then even our DJs, bro, our DJs are making a whole lot of money. It's just that they're few. It's just that they're few. But like the top DJs, I think they can be counted on the finger, like 20. Your DJs need to they need a bigger community, man, because they're very few and the party places are so many, and the DJs be
guys are trying to hog. Guys like 3 nights.
Yeah, I'm really gonna say this. I'm really tired of seeing the same DJs in all the bars, guys. Like, let don't laugh, bro, because you're gonna make me laugh and I'm trying to do a serious point. Nah, but I have so many DJ friends, so I know these guys are not gonna get pissed off. Cause listen, it'd be better if the competition was much higher. Cause for some reason, bro, I'm hearing like a lot of the same music all the time.
Yeah.
Now the reason why this shit is pissing me off, is because I was chilling with the Soul Natives. Yeah, so we just brought the Soul Natives and Uncle Waffles.
Yeah,
and what Levels were doing a carnival.
Yeah.
It was very lit. Shout out to Levels as well and Talent Africa for supporting us with the whole endeavor. But I'll say I was talking to the Soul Natives who were chilling at some West Side apartments, and they were like, man, in South Africa, the DJs pride themselves in playing what no one knows. You dig? And they were like, man, if I'm doing another piano set and I know another DJ is coming on, for me to have a good set, I'm gonna make sure I play nothing he has played. You dig? So I have to dig deep, look within the artists, look within the stuff, and find the dope music.
That makes sense.
Now,
because like when you listen to their sets, you can't Shazam any song.
Yeah, your guys are even gonna play unreleased music because they're dying so much.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did when they came to Levels. I was like, bro, couldn't Shazam? It's like, man, what to play unreleased music, because you understand, we have to give guys. And also that Uncle Waff was coming on, you dig it. And they didn't play anything similar. If you guys watch the sets, they didn't play anything similar.
Are you allowed to say?
Man, Soul Natives were
crazy.
way too hard, bro.
Crazy.
I've never seen that shit in my life.
Really?
Especially on Amapiano. I think those guys are going to be on our greatest Amapiano acts. Especially once everyone catches on. So the reason I'm saying that is because the DJs here you're gonna go to places and you're gonna hear the same shit. And then you're gonna be told these are the big DJs in the city. You dig it. And then the next weekend and the other weekend. But then at the same time, there's gonna be so much music bubbling in the Ugandan underground. And not even the Ugandan underground, like so many, like even the Nigerian, the what. But then you'll hear. So in my head, I feel like, you guys, let's all accept this shit. Like the way our uptown society in Kampala is built, there's so much like pressure. You dig? There's so much pressure amongst people. Like you'll go to a bar and you see like on Twitter, like some like small thing happened at Thrones and guys are tweeting like, hey man, Thrones has had this guy was smelling like shit and they had this issue and what. Like everyone is trying to catch someone doing something wrong. You dig it? And people are not like left free to express. You dig? So I feel like that kind of pressure, like for example, they put on like chilling spots where you find all these influencers trying to trash talk places for one wrong thing they do. They put that energy on DJs as well. You dig? So DJs are not really allowed to be experimentative as they could be. You dig? And man, for that reason, I feel like DJs are fearing the crowds they're playing for.
Yeah.
Bro, let me
pandering, man.
They're scared of these crowds.
That's a discussion me and this guy have had like a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always telling him, why is it that when I go out, they're playing the songs that were slapping in S1? Like,
now these DJs are scared of the crowd. Yo, you guys stop being scared of the crowds. You guys are the hit makers.
You guys are the taste makers.
Yo,
we're supposed to introduce guys to the new shit.
Yeah, man. You know, Eris would always say this shit. It's like, man, I don't care what the city says. If the club plays it, it's a hit. You dig it? And they say that they have such statements because they know that DJs are going to look for the hardest music. They don't have to go advertise, do what, like, I have my hardest shit, it's there. If the club plays it, it's a banger. Now, what are you going to say? You dig it? So, it's like, man, if someone has had music and it's there, man, do yourself the courtesy of playing the music. You dig it? And show people out there that you know what's going on. You're a DJ for a reason. You actually know how to skim through music. You dig it? Like, you know how to listen to good music. You know how to predict the trends. You can create trends. You dig it? Like, you're not just some motherfucking robot playing the same motherfucking program shit, you DJs. And I don't even hate you guys. I don't even hate you guys, bro. I love you guys, but man, let's be serious, bro. Let's be serious, man. You cannot play the same shit. And then meantime, you're gonna find guys, you know, like, yo, bro, I love you, man. I love your music. Fuck you, bro.
You not play
the music. You dig, yeah? Like, play the music, man.
Yeah.
Play, like, bro, even I've suffered with that shit. Like, we work with DJs, promote each other, do this. We have crazy symbiotic relationships where we support each other. And then a nigga will go to TV and not play anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, they took you there because you're playing unique music. You
know you're
actually
not
can bend
playing
Ugandan
music.
culture in a place that's amazing. Now, why'd you go there and act like a bitch? You dig what I'm saying? You're not
Yeah.
playing anything.
Oh,
You're
God,
fearing the
bro.
crowds. You're fearing they may say, what are you playing? What? Like, no, brother. Guys who actually changed the industries in Nigeria, in South Africa, they did that thing. They went and stood up to everyone and said, we're going to show you guys how we can mold this industry. Because, man, if like, say, Baraka drops his music, and Baraka has just dropped a collab with Apers, all of you play that shit, bro, because what's going to happen is Baraka is going to get discouraged. And then we're going to keep listening to the same shit we've been listening to for the past 10 years because you guys don't want to play the next sound. You dig? You guys don't want to play the next sound. And then you're going to play these guys. Guys even start playing musicians when they've been booked to come into the country. You dig? You check Apple Music. I'm glad I bought this motherfucking iPhone. You check Apple Music and you see what these uptown rich Ugandans are listening to. And these Nigerians are not coming here by mistake. We're the ones bringing them here. We're the ones listening to their music. You dig, eh? Like, bro, we could actually be listening to our guys and they're ruling the top 10s and whatever, and we're paying like 10,000 USDs for these things. You dig, eh? And then we could go export these musicians. They could go out there, and then you guys could come and ask for loans to build houses and cars and whatever, and you won't even have to go get a mortgage. You dig what I'm saying? Because our culture will have been put to that place. Our economy will have been put to that place.
How prevalent is the pay to play shit here? Like, are DJs getting paid to play guys' music?
Yeah, man, that shit is there in the local industry. Like, I wouldn't even say local industry because we exist in the same industry, bro. But then there's people who have created that. And I understand because in Uganda, it's a big scarcity mindset. It's not just in music, it's in every industry. People are paying to stay relevant. You understand? People are doing a lot of things. You find like old-ass raggedy motherfuckers still in the same seats for like many years. And it's even here, man. Even when guys have lost relevance, they're still in the same seat. And my thing is, bro, guys are even hiring, like what musicians hiring hella songwriters, and then they're gonna pick like from 30 songs like that one. And the guy is like having a whole army looking for a hit. You dig it? And yet, I'm like, bro, why don't you just get the next wave of guys? Why don't you just support those guys like the way Don Jazzy has done or like what? And then we have like an evolution that the industry needs to evolve. You cannot tell me that Nigerian music is that good, yeah, with the sound and what. We have sound engineers here who are not even being let into studios. You understand? Because some older sound engineer was been in the studio for 10 years, they want to leave it. You dig what I'm saying? And that's the same shit like you go in every sector. You dig, but man, if you've been in that industry, in that seat for 10 years, at least you should be able to have gotten people in a place, or the industry in a place whereby our sound is respected. Like on Apple Music, like guys be like, man, if you're looking for like this Dolby sound, what? There's that new sound thing that's on Apple Music right now. Spatial, it's called a special sound. You're like, bro, they'll be like, this guy is one of the specialists in that, is now gonna help our artists get onto that thing, so that our music experience is way better. But spatial is happening, and we're just here looking. You dig, eh? And I'm like, bro, get new young guys into the audio studios. Bounce all these guys if they don't know what the fuck spatial audio is. Or if they cannot create the shit. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, even these musicians, eh? And man, fuck the DJs again, by the way, because these guys, eh?
Respectfully.
Yeah, very respectfully, bro, because I love I love all my DJ friends, bro. But I don't respect you guys sometimes because you see now, who do you think they're paying? They're paying the DJs, right? And I'm not even saying this for my friends, I'm saying for DJs around the country. Because what you're doing is you're holding the evolution of music by like its neck and not allowing it to grow in a way. Because what's happening is you're going to get these guys who have been there. These guys have had hits. These hits are not penetrating the market. You understand? We're trying to get international. You understand? These hits are not penetrating. They're staying in the country. You guys, your shit is staying in the country. Stop paying DJs and let them play what's nice. And this is what to musicians like who are paying. So you guys have access to motherfucking craziest budgets, and you wanna pay guys to play your fucking raggedy boring shit. And out of like, not even disrespectfully, bro, because this is the same culture we represent, but we have something else, bro. And we're young, we're new. You look at the Egyptian stories, and listen, when Horus was young, he was a great young king. Yeah, he created structure and order, but then he grew old after some time. You see, Egypt was a great state because of Horus. I mean, because of Osiris. Osiris was a great king. Egypt became big because of him. But then he reached a time when he was no longer able to do that shit. You dig? And the first thing that happened is he became willfully blind, which means that he would allow crazy shit to happen in his face and he wouldn't do anything about it, which means the culture was no longer evolving under him, which means that the Egyptian culture could no longer be updated. You understand? So that means they were bound to be static if he kept leading. And now, the guy kept leading, and so what happened is Seth came and destroyed him and tore him up in pieces, and Seth is like Satan. You dig? So, Isis, who is like Mother Mary, had to come and then create Horus. The point of Horus, who is like Jesus, who grew up away from his culture, was to come and update the culture and be able to save the culture, be able to give the culture vision and sight, so that the culture could continue to evolve, to be strong. You understand? And this is where we have companies that die. How do you stop a company from dying? You ask yourself. Or you know how do you stop a family from breaking apart? You ask yourself. It's these things. It's willful blindness. If you allow someone to be willfully blind, it means they're going to see something and still act like they haven't seen it. You understand? So how do you expect a person like that to fix a mistake? You understand? How do you expect a person like that to use spatial audio when it has come?
Yeah.
That guy's going to be like, it's not important.
You really like spatial audio?
I don't even know what it means, bro. I don't even know what it means. I don't know what it means, bro.
Cyrus, could I use spatial audio, bro?
The audio is like in 3 dimensions.
I imagine it's like you're in a
like when you turn your
You
head.
understand?
Turn your head,
I don't even know what that shit means, but all I know is that, bro, we need that shit if it's important.
Oh God, bro.
You understand?
Like that hi-fi shit that Tidal had.
Yeah, so
Hi-fi.
we cannot be acting willfully blind. We're simple doing things, and we're like, nah, man, that shit doesn't seem to be that important. Otherwise, you understand? That's what willful blindness is. And that's why I'm saying, like, Horus came to stop that same thing, because that's the thing that was going to kill Egypt. And it's a thing that eventually got Osiris chopped up and his body parts thrown all over Egypt. That's the thing that got him chopped up. Who was the greatest Egyptian what? King and ideology, because their kings were ideologies in their minds. They weren't really like physical people. They were ideologies. So I would like to say that when Horus came, he saved the culture, he updated the culture, and he did it by combining. Because when he fought Seth, he lost his eye, right? Seth tore out his eye. He got his eye and he put it back into his father's body so that he could give his culture vision. Do you understand? So when the Egyptians were trying to answer that question of how do you keep something alive for a very long period of time, it's by the young and the old coming together. Do you understand? It's by continuously updating yourself. You don't sit in a seat and be in it, even when you've become willfully blind and you stay in it. If Africa is now doing international bangers and your country has no international bangers, get some motherfucker out of his seat and let new people come and take over the sound. You dig what I'm saying? Because Ghanaians have international music, Nigerians have it, South Africans have it. You understand? Tanzanians are putting it out.
A lot of
Diamond
North Africans
Platinum.
are as well, bro. The North Africans are heavily, bro. The North Africans are heavy in Europe, bro.
North Africans, yeah, I know
Heavy,
North Africans for a fact, bro. So if you cannot tell me that the Ugandans cannot produce this, do you understand? Whether it's in art, whether it's in DJing, because why don't we have international DJs? And you man, DJs, bro, DJs. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. You guys could be as big as the biggest DJs. We just saw DJs come and take over this whole weekend. We've seen Maforisa come this year. We've seen so many DJs. Why don't we have like our DJs go and fly out? You guys start playing what you wanna play. Stop letting the people control you. Stop being scared of the people. Stop letting the musicians pay you. Be the guys who can go to the bar with my phone. I'm gonna Shazam what this guy is gonna play. I'm gonna enjoy this guy's set. I'm gonna learn new music. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna update the culture.
Amen to that.
You
Honestly, bro.
Yeah,
Amen
man.
to that, you get.
That's what we need, man. So DJs, bro, that's how we're gonna send you to fly abroad and go and like play for people abroad, because they know Yo, that's why we call Spino here and all these DJs. They've come to sell to us their culture.
Yeah.
We don't even expect them to play anything we know. You dig? That's what's crazy. We don't expect them to play anything we know. We just know they've come to give us a culture.
Yeah.
And that's what I want the DJs to understand
Let me
here,
ask you a
man.
question about that, yeah? So we have our DJs.
Yeah.
We have our DJs that are like considered the hard guys.
Yeah.
Uganda.
Please don't say any names, bro, because man, it's not
I'm
gonna
also
be
not
easy
saying
for
any
me.
names.
Yeah, man. It's not gonna be easy for me, bro.
Let's keep it under
I'm
umbrella
not
term
saying any names,
DJs.
but for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
This guy is clenching his cheek, doing his best not to shit on whatever name they say.
I'm not saying any names, but I'm asking. So, for example, a bunch of the DJs you've mentioned, yeah,
I've not mentioned any DJ's name.
No, I'm saying the international ones. I'm
Yeah,
saying the international
yeah,
ones. Hey, guys. So you have, for example,
Nah,
like,
bro, because I want all these guys to take it like all of you guys.
Umbrella.
Like no one is standing out in a very special
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
Let me just say that actually, none of these DJs are standing out in a special way. Guys, like they're standing out in conversation, yeah? Like, hey man, speaking visionary shit, right?
Yeah.
That shit is useless if you cannot put it in action, man.
On God.
true.
Do you understand?
So now, me, this is my question. Out of all the guys you've mentioned that have come to Uganda, you have like Spino, you have Maforisa, you have even Uncle Waffles.
Yeah.
Are all
Soul natives.
So
Yeah,
big
yeah,
up Soul Natives.
they're all featured
Yeah.
on tracks.
Yeah.
Is that happening in Uganda?
Yeah, it is actually. Big up to Selector Jeff. One guy doing something very, 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 very sensible, bro. Selector Jeff is a very hardworking DJ. He remixed Tip. First of all, he called us up like, yo guys, I love your song. I wanna like work on you guys, do a remix. Do you wanna work with Big Trillo, John Black? And you guys know how that shit ended. But love to Big Trill, man. Big Trill is a guy who has really pushed our culture so far. I wish we could dash you one more time, Big Trill.
Oh God.
One more time, because that shit was amazing.
More, bro. He deserves one more.
Yeah,
more
man.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
He took it there. Hey.
Yeah, man, it took us places, bro. So I'd really like to say that Selector Jeff has done like really amazing work in the music. First of all, working with artists, because he's also promoting a lot of other younger artists. I know he's in Black Market Records, so I hope Black Market Records not ripping him off, because you know what record labels do. But I hope they're not ripping him off. Selector Jeff, bro, I hope they're not ripping you off, bro. But he has put on so many artists. There's another artist he put on called Heed and gave him a collab with Oxlade. That was really dope. And I know none of you guys know who Heed is, but Heed 16th is a very young artist. He's one of my guys, stays in Nigeria.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, bro, you should check him out. It's very good music. There's another song called Chop Life. I think the song with Oxlade is called Chop Life, shit. But yeah, man, Selector Jeff has put on so many guys, and he also has like big songs like mainstream artists. So that's a guy who is a DJ, but also tries to like go into like the musicians and like try to see that he impacts them, pushes them. Now, Selector Jeff is a guy, I'd say for a fact that most places I go, he'll play music, he'll play our music. And most DJs will play like young artists' music when they see them. I respect the DJs who play music whether artists are there or not. Like they'll just always play the music and like, you know, try to get the music out there. Because at the end of the day, what we're pushing is culture. It's just deeper than sound, man. It's lifestyle. It's how people behave. It's how people react. It's how people perceive themselves. It's how people think it's how people even perceive their self-worth, yo.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
very deep. It's very, very deep what sound means to a culture.
Okay, bro, I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
The first one is to your point of like the music, like say in an ideal world, right, where the DJs start playing whatever they think is hot.
Yeah.
What do you think comes first? Does the music penetrate the worldwide like scene first, or do you think it penetrates deeper into, even though it's just only the urban areas in Uganda? Do you think it penetrates deeper into Uganda first?
Yeah.
Because all our music is very like Kampala based. A lot of like the music that we listen to is very Kampala central. Even if one of our DJs went and played a set in like a bar in say Arua or like in a village, guys would be like, yo, what the hell is this? Like, what's this guy playing for? I don't understand any of it. You know? And even if you guys, I'm sure you guys saw that. What was his name? The guy who played at Blankets and Wine.
Suna Ben.
Yeah, the Suna Ben set
Suna
at Blankets. Guys were also kind
Big
of
up.
like, what's this guy play? We don't know any of this
I won't
music.
cap 5 minutes in. I started.
Well, like, yo,
I
what's
started enjoying
happening?
it.
No, because of that the extra shit was adding to it, right? But the music we didn't know. So what do you think comes first?
Nah, like I told you initially, like when you're looking at music, you look at music as something that comes out of a culture, and the people even who create that music, you have to look at those people as well. But then, for it to be accepted as music, I keep telling you, like the culture has to accept the music. This is just something we learn in anyone who has studied ethnomusicology will tell you this, because ethnomusicology is essentially study of music, culture, and its people.
Ethnomusicology.
Yeah, ethnomusicology.
That's the name of this episode. Ethnomusicology.
Yo, so I'll tell you for a fact that there's no music unless it has acceptance by a culture. You understand? And ultimately, it speaks to a culture who speaks for a culture. So, when we put out music like Suna Ben, the reason it's so big is it's speaking for a culture, and there's a people somewhere who have really embraced him that there will come 30,000 people. I think he still has the biggest stand-up this year. Right?
Yeah.
He still has the biggest stand-up this year. He had 30K guys at a show in like Feb.
And let me tell you, that nigga, no one's counting. It's probably more, bro. It's
You
just an
think-
estimation of this
He was
that
actually
space.
popping this week on socials for
Yeah.
having some meetings about DJs and stuff like that.
Did you understand?
Yeah.
So that guy he has cultural acceptance somewhere. So now if our DJs were to come and start playing, it's like on a very unconscious level, even on a very conscious, like self-aware level, our people would start accepting our music way more. And not when I say our music, I'm meaning like our music as Ugandan musicians. You dig? Because we need this music to be embedded in the, because this music speaks for the people. It speaks to the people as well. And if you have Ugandan artists, now you ask yourself what would be the reaction of that situation when guys are playing more of the hottest Ugandan sounds, not the ones that are banging, just the ones that are so hot.
Sound-based, yeah.
You dig? People will actually want to sit down and create lit music. You dig? No one is gonna have like, I need a 10 million budget to promote. I need to fuck this manager so that this manager can invest in my music. No, chicks are not gonna do that. They're just gonna go sit down and create lit music. You dig? I'm not gonna think to myself that, man, I need to like sign like half of my career to this guy. Nah, none of that will be there. I have to sit down, create the latest music, and then put it into the system. And expect that if I give it a little bit of promo, of course the DJs will hear it and then they'll play it. What we have now is a DJ will hear a song, he will love it, and then he will not even play it. When it comes down to like trying to really mash up a crowd at midnight at one of the lit bars, he's not gonna play anything. He's gonna go like fucking. Let me not even say what, cause then guys will start like
identify.
You dig? But man, don't do that, man. Don't do that, guys. Let's be serious, man. Let's be serious. Get lit music, cause you know when we're like chilling in hostels, like in Mokono, where like we're in mobs. When guys really want to turn up, they're going to go to like their friends' music.
Yeah.
And the reason I was saying this, Melvin, actually, let me back still on your answer, on your point, is you have to understand that our Apple Music, who was like, first someone check that list. You're not going to see any Ugandan songs in like for the first 40 songs.
Top 100 songs.
You dig? You're going to see like 2 songs. Then you got the albums. You're not going to see no albums for like the first 40 albums. You see like 1-2 albums. And even when an artist in Uganda claims that album list, they go down like
Quick.
in a week.
After release week.
You understand? So me in my head, I'm like, bro, what's going on? This is a Ugandan list representative of what Ugandans are listening to. Do you understand? Like, aren't you guys just intrigued to listen to?
One sec. Key? Okay.
Aren't you guys just intrigued to listen to like fellow Ugandans? You dig, eh? Aren't you guys intrigued to listen to fellow Ugandans and then see, and then how can you push that sound? You're on that list.
The first Ugandan song is 13th.
Is the 13th. What song is that?
Winnie Nwaji.
Big up Winnie Nwaji. I like that double pack.
Malaika.
That song Malaika was part of like a double pack she dropped. She dropped like 2 songs at the same time. Yeah, that was dope. What's the next one?
I'm still scrolling.
And while you're scrolling, I'll just mention this randomly. Like, Mike Ihura had a show here, and it was his first big show out of his country. You dig, eh? So that automatically meant that one of his biggest demographics out of his country is
Uganda.
You dig, eh? And these are artists that Paul typically says not a big artist. But no, Ugandan artists will tell you differently. Ugandan fans will tell you differently. You understand it? And that shows you the power of our market as
I think we might have been
Ugandan
his first
market.
show ever out of his country.
Yeah, and it's not just the first one. So many Nigerians have had the same thing, bro.
Even Thames and Omar. I think
Those guys
Omale
perceive
was his first
Uganda as
time
some
out.
kind of gateway to success.
Oh, God.
Like you go to Uganda, if Ugandans fuck with, even Jamaicans used to think we were that at some point. Like we have such a good demographic for listening to music, but then where the fuck is our self-worth and our sense of, Martin Luther King always said this shit, like the black man needs to overcome the inferiority complex before becoming anything, because everything is trying to tell the black man that you're not worth anything, and in Uganda here, a lot of families you'll be told like, man, bola bazungu. That's why you see bazungu are like this. They'll always try to create that contrast of your damn and white people way better than you. And then they'll also try to create that contrast of, man, abroad, whatever is abroad is better than what's here. And even like you'd be in class and they're like, how many guys have gone abroad? Put up your hands. And somehow you're evaluating your worth as people in a class, as young children, by who has actually been out of this shitty country. You understand? And they'll make you feel like it's a shitty country because they're trying to tell you all these things. Hey, it was undiscovered before this white man came and discovered it. And then when you try to defend yourself, you were stupid. You thought witchcraft would work, and then these guys shot you down. What? You dig. So ultimately, like, they're trying to tell you all these things up until where you are now. That, man, you guys, you're not shit, man. Don't believe you are. You dig. So it becomes easy for us as Ugandans whose subconscious has been targeted systematically from very young ages to believe that we're not worth shit. For us to actually come and now start listening to our music and supporting our own people, it's not going to be easy, of course. That's why we have Bubu campaigns being pushed to you Ugandans. You dig what I'm saying? There wouldn't be a need for Bubu campaign if we knew what our self-worth was. What would it be for?
You guys know what Bubu is, right?
Buy Uganda, build Uganda.
Yeah, it wouldn't be necessary.
They're pushing that here.
Right?
Now
In
that
Uganda.
I think about, that's why it's being pushed.
Do you understand? It
Pushed
would not
outside
be
Uganda.
necessary.
Uganda.
Like, you're Ugandan, bro. Like, if you don't, it might be your mom's business. Are you gonna go to school if they don't buy her stuff? No. So it becomes obvious. Like, why don't you go and support fellow Ugandans? That's in the supermarket. You're gonna diss it next time your friend is gonna tell you, by the way, my mom makes crisps and they're called this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna be like, bruh, that guy's like, man, I can't actually pay for fees next term.
Yeah.
And
Because
you're
it's
like,
the crisps.
I could have bought them crisps and you'd have been here with me.
Yeah.
So
I'm
it
good.
becomes very obvious, but then there's someone out there is still stocking our supermarkets with all these foreign products and expecting them to compete and expecting our producers to go and up the value of their products. Do you understand? But meanwhile, the guys they're competing with are having these Pringles and this stuff that they have, economies of scale. These guys are selling to the whole world. Of course, you cannot compete with their price. But then they want you to go improve your product while they're forcing you to compete with people who have actually scaled to the whole world. Then you ask yourself, how am I supposed to compete? Do you understand? So we could easily buy Uganda. First of all, stop feeding us these foreign products. You understand? Stop feeding us these foreign products. And then also, someone should also actually go to the media and then start like trying to, man, I honestly don't know if these loans that we have with the Europeans include us not empowering our people in the media. Because sometimes it feels like that. I know these loans, they affect us in ways we don't understand, like the taxes we pay. They're very high because of these loans. And so I ask myself sometimes, is the education system still lying to us because of these loans? Do you understand? It's just like a thought. Is it?
Like, are we still forced to buy their products and bring them in because of the loans?
Because of the loans.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because
Do you
some of these
understand?
loans come with specifications, like you have to, number one, like open your currency or open your economies to foreign markets. What do they have a term for it? Something your economy. I remember that term. Then they come with stipulations like devalue your currency.
Democratize or something.
Yeah, like they have a term for it.
Democratize your economy.
It would
Yo.
devalue your economy, your currency, things like that. So it could be the loans.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if it,
It's colonialism and neo-colonialism,
do you understand? So
We
now,
can't
if you've
propose.
been targeted like that, subconscious, it's even deeper than like if I was to hypnotize you, because I'm trying to go in a very deep layer of your unconscious mind. But if I've been targeting that unconscious mind, even when you're drunk, we're going to talk about this shit. Even when you're in all your most suggestible states of your mind, we're going to talk about this shit. You're going to see it on TV when you're in like hypnotic states or what. You're going to see these things everywhere all the time, whether it's American propaganda, whether it's Ugandan propaganda, whether it's British propaganda. You're going to see this stuff all the time, whether it's just the news, whether it's just the Premier League news. That's also doing the same exact thing. You understand? So now you tell yourself, like, man, how is a Ugandan? Of course, they're not expected to be supporting their own music, man. Of course, they're not expected to be doing anything. But then, I mean, we have the ability to raise our own consciousness as people, because ignorance is you've ignored something. It's not like it has been refused to be given to you. You know that theory of like guys are playing basketball over count the passes and then a gorilla passes in front of the screen.
And no one could tell.
You know that theory, and then no one can see the gorilla.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You dig
experiments
it?
before, yeah.
That's like sort of like what ignorance is like, but like that's sort of a distraction more. That's more of a distraction. But it's almost like look wherever you wanna look. You're gonna see what you wanna see, but you've chosen not to look where you wanna look. It's like a willful blindness of sorts. You understand? We can actually raise our own consciousness. You know, it's like as a grown man knowing that every time I come close to my mom, maybe I lose my temper, and so knowing that maybe there's a programming within me that doesn't support this relationship. And then coming to the awareness that maybe something happened that triggered me to the level that I cannot stand this person. And then knowing that, man, maybe I need to think through my shit, through all the different epochs and phases of my life to see where this shit actually comes from. Feel aware about it, heal from it, and then be able to come to my mom, and then we have a conversation like two normal human beings. Do you understand? That consciousness, that ability to heal yourself, source your problem and fix it, that's our ability as conscious human beings. You understand? That's our ability. So I wouldn't say that, man, sit down, complain about the cards you've been dealt, because there's more that you can do about that. There's a lot more. So I feel like as Ugandans, we need like a better effort. We don't need these bobo campaigns, guys. We just need to. What are you doing when you're scrolling through your phone, scrolling through TikTok and shit? Like, man, look for some sensible stuff that's gonna enlighten you and help your people. Like, follow your people, see what they're saying, give them energy. You know, guys say like our performance. You know, there's a performance. Most teams have someone in charge of high performance, and the reason they have that is because otherwise, people would just be doing like raggedy training and just like being like chill. So there's someone who's like, yo, we have done this, but then we have to do like at a very high level. So like there's someone in charge of like high performance. Do you understand? And man, I really feel like we need someone we need a way whereby we can have that in our lives, knowing that, man, I have this state of consciousness, but I need to find a way to get to a higher state of consciousness. Because what happens is it affects the whole society. The fact that societies have wars is not by mistake. It's the state of the consciousness that has been affected for people to think that they can actually go against each other and create all that chaos. And I'm not like saying order is good, like, because too much order eventually becomes like a form of a tyranny, which is also bad. And people cannot exist in that because they can't breathe. So what I'm saying is we need to find a way. Like, we've been dealt these bad cards, the historically and what, and we may not want to like support each other. We may always feel like what's not ours is better than what we have. But we need to like work on our consciousness and also see how it improves our society, see how it betters us, see how it makes the next person rich, and see how it makes our communities stronger. Do you understand? So I was answering a question of yours that you were talking about.
Which one comes first?
Yeah. And it's always the people here. It's always down to the people here. First. Yeah. And then the world will love that, and then they'll just want to be a part of it. We want to be a part of the Amapiano energy.
Yeah.
That's because we see it. We see how they're happy when they're dancing and stuff.
Perfect.
But then it's them who have to first be happy. So
now, piggybacking off that,
yeah,
you mentioned that you work with Talent Africa.
Yeah.
Or you've worked with them on several occasions.
Yeah.
I want to know what you think of the Nyege marketing. What they're doing right now with Nyege. I want to know your thoughts, because I have thoughts. I want to know what you think first.
First of all,
you don't have to. If you can ruin any business.
No, it won't, man. It won't. I love Nyege, man. What are you saying?
Okay.
I love Nyege. I'm just laughing because I was just saying early, like 2 days ago, when we were doing the whole Uncle Waffles thing, and he did the production for us for Nyege. They actually brought the boiler room speakers.
Crazy.
That's what Uncle was performed on.
Crazy.
Yeah. No, I'll say Ali is a G, man. I'll say Ali is a G because these guys have like a big they have a big will to promote African culture. And I resonate with them because, man, we're trying to do the same thing with Bantu vibes. And what I've loved is how Nyege has tried to incorporate so many creatives and bring them all together. The stage that we've been running at Nyege for 2 years is the Belgium stage. That it's supposed to play strictly Ugandan music. And so whatever is happening at Nyege, you can always come to the Belgium stage and find like authentically Ugandan music, Ugandan vibes and whatever. I forgot the question. What was the question again?
What do you think of how they're marketing the next
Or like
Nyege?
around the world and what?
Listen.
Are they doing the shows around the world like they were doing? I don't even know if they're marketing this one.
Bro. Okay, this is what I'll say. I don't want to give you my opinion because I was already my bias you.
Yeah.
But then the way that this Nyege is being marketed is, it seems like it's being marketed outwardly, right? So it seems like the target market isn't us.
Should it be us?
That's what I want to know. What do you think?
I don't think it should be us, man.
Okay.
I think like Nyege is already it's already the biggest festival in East Africa. We know it. And I feel like, you see, when you ask yourself, like most festivals, the faces of the festivals are the creatives, right? and the creatives, you wanna say that they're the ambassadors of the cultures. And so when you have a nyege, you'd want that there's more than enough Ugandan performers. And more than having Ugandan performers, you'd want even neighboring countries, because it's the biggest festival like in East Africa. Or even East and Central, I don't know. But you'd want that when these people come from all these parts of the world, they're going to come in there and then they're going to come and experience our culture. So me, what I would want to have is more Ugandan performers, more African performers, as opposed to having more of an African market. Because the Africans will have to go there. Like, bro, it's just a road, like a thingy away. But if we know that people are actually interested in flying from very far to come here and see our thing, that means a whole lot. That means a lot. That means we can actually now move our culture beyond. And I'm saying, when I say move our culture, guys, I'm looking at also the dollar bills, because you get a lot of money from these things. People are going to come, foreign exchange, people are going to come and want to see these things. Nigeria is making so much money right now from selling their culture. Obviously. Burna Boy is, I think, right now richer than like 90% American artists. Right now, all making more money than them, or might even have a higher booking fee.
Like that.
You dig it? So I feel like where our guys would be, where this podcast would be alone, if Ugandan culture was something like was worldwide, would be crazy. Because people will look for any small thing to use to understand Ugandan culture. When people try and understand Nigerian culture, they'll look for their food. Right now, the restaurants around the world selling their jollof and their whatever. Right? People look for their clothing. People look for their ways of washing.
Atlanta episode.
Yeah, when they jollof. Cheesy jollof.
Now, this is what we learn when we're learning about music. All these aspects of the culture will all move with it at the same time. It's not like it moves and then leaves the things behind. So even this podcast here, some that we use to talk about our culture and try to formulate a way forward for our culture, this is an aspect of the culture that would also move with the culture. Do you get what I'm saying? So that means that all these things, like there's a whole lot of people waiting to make a whole lot of money and express themselves in ways if the culture can move. You understand? Yeah, so I feel like it's a very important thing, man.
And also on that point, I don't think Nyege has ever been marketed to us per se. Because even on the old versions that are here, most of the marketing was about how many people have flown in, from which countries.
I know, bro. I think that
even when COVID came, it was like it's going to affect people
I feel like the last two were fairly heavily marketed to at least Kampalans. Like you'd see Nyege banners around Kampala.
Oh, they were hella billboards, yeah.
They were giving out like free tickets.
Yeah.
Like we knew when early bird tickets would go on sale, we knew immediately. This one has been completely different.
Look, to be fair, there's been like that whole break due to COVID. And
that's true.
Now it needs a lot more push than it needed back then.
That's
was
true,
kind
but
of
I
going
feel
off
like
momentum.
Because of the last two, they generated like a hunger, right? And now it's almost like now we're being taken for granted, where it's like, you guys will come regardless. So let's market to these other guys now.
But then for me, my question is, we see what they are marketing. Yeah. Like we see the shows, like if you watch the Instagram stories,
that's the thing, you really have to look for it, bro.
The question for me is, what's happening at those shows? Because at least the ones I've seen, I know it's, let's take our culture there. But like when I see the shows, not that I don't see the Ugandan culture, but I also have to look for it, as Melvin was saying. Like I really have to look for the time.
My issue with a lot of their shit is,
so it's more like, let's market the festival.
Which is
I think
cool.
that's what it
Which is cool.
Which is cool.
Because then if people come for the festival, maybe they'll get the culture.
Yeah.
I think that's what's been like. It's a business
and
thing.
I
They have
keep
to market
saying the faces
festival.
of the festival are the creatives from here.
Yeah.
You dig? Like what people usually caught up in is that this thing is organized by like white guys, what. And I'm like, that's not what's important. What's important is that, yeah, those guys have the money to organize a festival because you're going to need some billions on your pocket. But then, who are the faces? You cannot have the festivals without the creatives. And the creatives are us, the black guys. So I'm like, bro, we also need to be able to be proud and be like, man, you have the dime, I have the resource, I have the creativity, I have the what. So now we have to be on the same page. It's not like I'm coming and I'm following your agenda.
Exactly. So
remember, all the artists they're using are our artists, our painters.
Like they have
my question
like
is,
they have like a collective. Like, do they have like a label or something?
Yeah, they do. But man, label things are usually crazy. So it's not like they use creatives from the label only. They use like creatives from everywhere.
Abantu Vibes guys going to perform.
Man, they've been performing for the past 2 years. Once we agree everything, hopefully they'll be performing. But we've been having like a whole stage for Bantu Vibes where we control all the performances. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Which is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
the creatives are the face of the festival.
Yeah.
How many creatives are being used during the marketing that are going to be at the festival?
Oh, all of them.
All
They're
of
always
them.
used. They're always
All
used.
of them.
Because you're not gonna have an activation, and like what are you gonna play?
Like even during these shows in Portugal and Paris and all these
Yeah,
things.
now that's where the guys in their label get to move.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where
their
they'll
label.
Yeah, that's why there's some quite popular. Just that I'm not really like in the market, because I know people who stay in the Muyanga communities and stuff. That a lot of the people in that communities, they have a bar they chill from. It's like called 154 what? Yeah. So like people who are in those communities know the names of the people more. For us, it's almost like when we went on to Nyege Nyege, we were just like in our own world.
Yeah.
We had been doing our own stuff, clan meeting, what.
Just
So a company called us like, we like what you guys are doing, come and just do it on this whole stage. So as when we went there, we found that people in those communities knew each other, what, they were familiar with each other. They even had a place they were sleeping. No, we're not with any of that shit. But
I think Nyege stems from, like the stuff that we're always talking about with Trevor, it stems from that like, that art community, like an art like clique where they are together, and for them, they're just trying to be a vehicle to export the culture outward.
yeah.
But then the people from here just don't relate, bro. That like it's hard for us to feel it, especially now that it's not even being marketed to us. Guys, that's kind of like, bro. Like if I ask all of you, how much you think Nyege is this year? Do you guys know?
Yeah, because of
You checked, right?
Yeah.
How much?
You guys like, I had to check, bro. They saying.
Literally.
I saw the flyer.
Yeah, but
How
I get
much?
you.
It's like 100 bake a day
It's 130k.
It's
for the 4 days.
130k.
for the
all
4
the
days.
days.
Yeah.
But
No one knows
that's
that,
like
bro.
Alibad.
That's
I
a
like
little
that.
cheap.
Yeah.
That's a little
130k, bro. But guys don't know that, bro. It's not being marketed to us.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Now,
the
the last time I had
explained it, because before that, me, I was hating. I guarantee you. But when I look at it as a vehicle to just export the culture outward, that's cool, man. Do your thing. You know?
Yeah, no, because the creatives look at it like that. Because the people like, man, if for example, when you look at Big Trill's Party After Party, the thing you're gonna credit the most for promoting that song is Nyege Nyege, because it was a big song in Uganda, and then when people came for Nyege Nyege, the song was promoted very heavily at Nyege Nyege. It was playing everywhere because it was the biggest song in Uganda. What happened is the Kenyans who left, even at the airport, they were recorded. The whole airport was singing Party After Party. And then it went into Kenya, and that very week, it went into #1 in Kenya. And then from there, Kenyans promoted it, and then Nigerians picked up on it. And then, so you look at Nyege Nyege, like it did that thing for us, for Big Trill.
Yeah.
You dig. It got him all the finest Kenya party people.
Do
They
you
were like,
think?
this is the song?
Do you think it also blew up because the Ugandans there were overhyping it? Does that make sense? Like
Yeah, but
he
then-
sings, and then the Ugandans are like, "Oh, this jam is fire." Then the Kenyans are like, "Wait, man, these
What
Ugandans
song
are saying the jam is
this?
fire, so
Of
us
course,
it's now fire."
Of course.
Yeah, but then the Nyege Nyege impact is well known. It's well known because that week when Nyege Nyege ended, that day when people were at the airport, that shit trended when everyone at the airport was singing Party After Party, and they were predominantly Kenyans going to Kenya. And then that same week, it went #1 in Kenya, their iTunes. You dig? So it was like a sequence of events. Like, I'm assuming these were like some of the most influential party people in Kenya. They went back to Kenya and they got this shit played and what. And then, yeah, so I believe Nyege Nyege, because Nyege has so many Kenyans that come here. So many, because I think Nyege is a Swahili word. Yes, I think those guys
What does it
understand
mean?
more.
Shake or something
Squeeze
else.
I heard it means honey.
I mean,
Just keep
Listen,
it PG.
bro.
So the kids don't get it, but
Kadongo kamu, you guy.
Kadongo kamu. For the kids. Kids are
Guys were like, shake it, they knew what it meant.
shake.
Nah, bro. I'm like,
Uncontrollable
How
shaking.
shake is a metaphor for horny. That's hilarious.
yo, I just feel like a science teacher shouting at you random bad word in the middle of a class, like it
You mean
means nothing.
coitus? Coitus interrupt us. Anyway, guys, we have to wrap up this one.
Specific form
Listen,
of coitus,
DENESI,
you
man.
Interrupt us.
You have to come back, you guys. Listen, we can do
Definitely.
like a 3-hour pod, honestly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to close this. What time is it? Oh, damn. It's almost 6.
It is 6.
Oh, bro, I wanted to start saying that day when the podcast was recorded, so guys can just get off our backs, bro.
Yeah, for it being
Yeah,
easy.
so I'd like,
I've been saying
I feel
guys
like you
just
start
it for us.
listening, you know it was recorded. Yeah, so this was now we'll say it at the top. We'll
Let's give them this one. Let's give them this one.
All right. Anyway, bro, thank you so much for coming, man. I got way more out of this than I expected. This is by far my favorite interview this year, meanwhile. Of the 22, this is my favorite one, bro. You have to come back.
I have to come back.
Bro, maybe we'll just do a pod at Nyege. You guys, who knows?
Bro, I
man?
didn't even say what I wanted to say. Like, there's a lot of like fucking consciousness, because I wanted to like live when I feel like I've raised people's consciousness so much.
Bro, I definitely have. You have.
I feel like I spend more time complaining.
And who told you this is the last time you're telling them?
Eh?
This is not the last time you're telling them, boss.
Listen,
Yeah,
bro.
definitely.
Nah, you're definitely coming back. Every time we have a good guest, he has come back at least a couple of times. Man. Yeah, man. So thanks so much for coming. You can plug whatever you want. What do you want to plug? Plug anything, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna plug your consciousness, man. I want you guys to meditate every day. I want you guys to have the awareness, and actually, I want you to have the awareness to take the time out to find silence in your days. I want you to find silence. I want you to tap into that silence, and I want you to allow everything to come to you, whether it's your happiness, whether it's your sadness. I want you to learn how to connect with it, and I want you to learn how to know yourself, know what ticks you off, know how to communicate when you're feeling sad or happy, know how to be yourself like no one can be yourself. And every day, if you feel like you're in a better place, try and put someone else in a better place. Try and teach somebody something. Because at the end of the day, if we are in a much more enlightened place and we're more enlightened as a community, then it serves us a greater good. We live in more beautiful environments. We live in cleaner places. We live in places with more opportunity. And we have less suffering, of course. We have less poverty. And you're now coming from Africa that we've been dealt a lot of bad hands. It's very important that we put consciousness at the top of our lists every day. Every day, not to let our struggling, because we come from generations where, sometimes we deal with generational curses and trauma we never realize so much, because maybe our grandparents, maybe they suffered with some guys who came and mistreated them, and then the ones after deal with colonialism, and then the ones after deal with the war, and then the ones after deal with power struggles, and then you're right there being born and being mistreated and you don't understand why, and then you just wake up and go and do that shit to your kids as well, and the kids do that shit to their kids. So I'm saying you have to break all them cycles of the suffering that was put on the people before you, because it's within our consciousness to do that. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna plug consciousness. That's what I've done.
That's it.
On that bombshell, we'll have to close it on that note. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.
Yeah.